friends, and welcome to Paulina Art. Today I'm going to be painting this cool, crisp winter morning with a cardinal as the main star of the painting. You don't need to know any special techniques or any drawing techniques in order to do this painting. It is a beginner-friendly composition, and I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this pretty crisp winter morning. All you need is some acrylic paint and basic brushes and some chalk to do very basic minimal amount of sketching. Today I'm working with the Bomega acrylic paint. These are the large 500 millimeter bottles of acrylic paint. I'm going to link up here both the reviews I've done for these acrylic paint sets, but of course you can use any acrylic paint you have at home. If you would like to see how I created this morning painting, stay with me and let's paint together. The colors that I'm using today are titanium white, ultramarine blue, purple, medium yellow, sap green, burnt amber or dark brown, brilliant red, and lamp black. Today I'm working on 9 by 12 canvas, which I have prepared the night before with a coat of white gesso. I'm going to roughly sketch the background using Crayola chalk. So I'm going to divide the canvas in the center here, and again in the middle this way. They don't have to be exact measurements, but roughly into 4 equal size quadrants. The valley is going to open up here in the center of this section of the canvas. The valley is going to open up here, and the road is going to come this way. Something like that. I'm going to paint the background, and for that I'm going to use this large filbert brush. Because it's a filbert brush, the edges are rounded, and this is going to prevent streaking on the background. I'm going to start by mixing a very light purpley blue. So I'm going to pick up some white, and I'm going to add a drop of purple and a drop of blue. And I want a little bit more blue in there. And with the round brush, I'm going to pick up the white first. I'm going to move to this color later. I'm going to pick up the white. I'm going to apply the white in this area. I want to add some yellow in here later, and this is why I'm going to leave it white. And I'm going to pick up this color that I mix. I'm going to start adding it around here and on the sides as well. The key to blending the colors is to have a lot of paint on your brush. I'm going to intensify the color by adding more purple and more blue. Just on half of the color, then I'll still have some of the lighter one in case I need it. And I don't want these colors too dark because I want a very soft sky and horizon line. And with the darker color, I'm going to paint the top part of the sky. And you can do the sides of the canvas if you like. And with this large brush, I can do nice long strokes. And I have the lighter color that I had mixed, and I'm going to blend these two into a nice gradient sky. I'm going to pick up this lighter color and I'm going to add a little bit more blue. I want the snow to be a little more blue and maybe some more white. And with this color, I'm going to start creating the area where the trees are going to be, the snow. And my road opens here. I'm just trying to identify how I want the landscape. And the land comes in here. It doesn't have to be even, because as we know, the snow is not even. And my road is going to open up somewhere here. And I'm going to have trees in this area. I'm still using this large brush. It's very convenient to do backgrounds. I'm going to add more white to this color that I mixed for the snow, and I cannot attach more blue. Still there's purple in here because I want the painting to have harmony. It's slightly lighter than this area. This is where the valley opens. I want this background, this landscape, to look like very soft winter morning. And I'm adding some white in here because I don't want this to be very dark. You can always adjust your colors. Okay, I'm going to allow this paint to dry for a few minutes. To paint this area of the horizon, I'm going to move to a smaller filbert brush. This is from a set I purchased at Amazon. I think they're called Bomega. I'm going to leave a link on the description box below to this set of brushes. They were inexpensive, but they work very well with acrylic paint. And I'm going to mix some white with a dab of yellow. I want a very pale, very pale yellow. And I'm going to add a bit of that color in here, just to add some warmth to the cool winter morning. And I'm going to start adding more yellow to my mixture. I'm still going to leave some of the paler yellow in case I need it again, but I want to intensify the yellow just to add more warmth to the winter morning. It's good to wait for the purples to dry before you add the yellows. Otherwise it will turn very muddy, but they look beautiful together. And I'm going to add more white in this area. I want this to be the lightest part. I'm going to pick up some of the pale yellow again. And I'm going to add some in this road that is opening here. I'm also going to add some white. I want to start creating effect of snow. And I want more white than yellow, but still with a bit of warmth. And I'm just moving the brush and creating some mounds of snow. And I don't want to cover all the light purpley blue that I've done. I wanted to show some of the color, because this creates a better effect for the snow than just plain white. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of the green I'm using today, and I'm going to add blue. I'm going to create a dark blue-green, and I'm also going to add some white. Because these trees are going to be in the horizon, I don't want them to be extremely dark. So this is the color I'm looking for. And I'm going to be using now this small flat brush. And I'm going to pick up some of this green. And I'm going to see if I like it. I can always adjust the color. And I'm going to start creating the effect of trees in this area. And I want the trees taller in this side and smaller in this side, because they're getting lost in the valley around here. So I'm just going to draw a line. This is going to decide the height of the tree. And the trees can be moving a little bit with the wind. These are going to be large pine trees. And like I said, I want them to get smaller as they get closer to this area. And I don't want to lose this nice light. And I'm just dabbing the brush. Doesn't matter if it's messy, because this is going to be covered with branches and that. And I'm going to add some trees here. These are going to be closer to us, so I want to make them larger. Okay, so we have established where the trees are going to be. I'm going to add a few smaller ones in this area of the valley, but I have added more white with the green, because I want these ones to be lost in the horizon. I'm now going to use a small brown brush, and I'm picking up some of the same lighter green I did for the trees. And I'm going to start adding the branches just by dabbing the brush. And the branches at the top are smaller. They get larger as you come down on the tree. So I'm just going to dab. And this can be a very loose effect because these trees are in the distance. Just remember that the branches get larger as the tree gets closer to the ground. And I want to leave some areas open. I don't want to cover everything. I want to leave some spaces. That gives a better foliage effect. You want to see the nice morning sky through the foliage. And on these trees, I'm going to add more white to the green just to create that effect of distance. These are going to be lighter. And the trees are smaller and the branches are smaller too. This will give an effect that the trees are getting lost in the distance. I now have white on the same round brush. On this area of the trees that is facing the light, the opening in the valley, I'm going to dab some white to create the effect of snow on the trees. But just on this side, to give the trees more dimension. And I'm dabbing it just like I did the branches. This gives a very pretty foliage effect to the painting. You're going to see it more on the ones that are darker, but that's okay. That's what we want, this softer effect on the ones that are further away. And you can see more clearly on these ones that are closer to us. But overall, I want all of these to be soft and pretty. And like I said, more of the white on just this side of the tree. That will give the tree more dimension. Okay, these trees, we're going to let them be. Let's do these ones now. These ones are a little bit closer. So we can add a touch more green, not too much, but just a tad more, like one shade darker. And I'm going to do the same as I did with this one. So I'm going to start dabbing the branches, and I'm going to make them smaller at the top and larger as the tree gets closer to the ground. These are going to be nice, majestic trees. In this crisp winter scene. And again, I want to leave some areas open so we can see through the trees. And I'm going to start making these ones a little bit lighter because they're getting close to this area. This gives the effect of distance and that these ones are in front of these other ones. The tree trunk guides me as from where I need to start painting the branches. I'm going to add more of the darker green in this area. I have the white now on the brush. Now again, I'm going to start dabbing snow. On the branches, creating that pretty winter effect on the trees. And more so on this area, closer to the road. Just to give the trees more dimension. If you put the snow everywhere, the trees are going to look a little flat. The trees are looking very pretty. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow in here from the trees. And for the shadow, I'm mixing blue, purple, and white, the same colors that I use for the snow. And I want a shade darker than the snow. The light is coming this way. We're just going to add some shadows in here. And I'm moving it a little bit because there's snow here, so it's not just one flat color. And with the round brush, I'm going to blend a bit so it's not so harsh. I'm going to add some shadows in here as well, just to give more dimension. And again, I'm going to blend a bit with my round brush. And I don't want this even. I want to create the effect that the snow is uneven. I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes. Okay, my friends, the background is dry and I'm going to sketch the cardinal. I'm going to measure the center of the canvas, and that's going to be here. I'm going to sketch with white chalk. Hopefully you can see it. So I'm drawing a line here on the center of the canvas. I might switch to this gray color so you can see better. So let's do that line. Okay. Now I'm going to do the branch where the cardinal is sitting, and the branch is going to start right below the snow, and it's going to come up like this and maybe like that. You can do the branch any any way you want to, really. And then where the cardinal is sitting is going to come like this. Okay, so the cardinal, basically the branch and everything, is going to be on this side of the canvas. I'm going to alternate between white and gray chalk. I'm going to use the one that you can see the best. Now the cardinal is going to be somewhere in here. I don't want him very large, maybe 2 inches long. I'm going to do him a little bit higher here. So I'm going to mark there and here. And basically I'm going to draw a rectangle here. There's the rectangle. And I'm going to make it a little bit wider here towards the end. And here as well. Okay? And I'm going to divide this in about 3 size equal segments. And this is going to be the head. So I'm going to round it up a little bit. And then the body is going to come down like this and like this. Okay? I'm going to go over this with paint so you're going to be able to see it better. This is just to sketch the proportions. And then I'm going to measure this. I know it's about 2 inches. And I'm going to go down here. Or you can use a ruler if you want the measurements to be more exact. And this is how long the tail is going to be. The tail is about the same length as the body. And it basically follows the body like this. Okay? And then the branch where he's sitting is going to come here. Okay? And then this one here, 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 and that's all we need. So there's 2 inches here and 2 inches here. The body is the 2 inches, which I divided in 3 equal sections, and the tail is another 2 inches, and the head is here at the top. And I've rounded it up a little bit, and the belly is a little bit round, and the back a little bit. The wings are going to be right in here. I'm going to start by defining the branches on this side, and then I'm going to go over the cardinal so you can see exactly what I've done. With a small round brush, I'm going to pick up brown, and I'm going to define the branches. This is going to be the branch where the cardinal is sitting. I'm just adding some details to the branch. Okay, I'm now going to use a fine liner brush, and I'm going to pick up red with brown. I'm creating a darker red color here by mixing these 2 colors. And with this, I'm going to trace what I can see that I've done. The top part is going to be the head, of course. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit in here. And the beak is going to come from here. Okay, the eye, the beak is here. Right on the upper part of the beak, we're going to place the eye in here. And then this is going to be the back of the head. Okay, and I'm going to round the back of the head a little bit like that. And then I'm going to round the belly. Like that. This is going to be a chubby little cardinal. And then we're going to curve the back a little bit as well. The feathers are going to be in this area. And we can do some feet in here if we want to. We're going to follow the body to the tail. Okay, so what I did with the chalk is I did a square here, and then I widened a bit this part of the square, and I divided it in 3. The head goes on the top part, and the body ends here, and the tail starts there and follows the body, and it's the same size as from here to here. So this was 2 inches, and the tail is another 2 inches. Now you can make it larger depending on the size of your canvas. For a 9 by 12 canvas, I feel this size is right. I want him to be part of the scenery, even though he's the main star. I didn't want him larger than that. I'm going to pick up some black with the liner brush, and I'm going to paint this part of the cardinal. I'm just gently dabbing here to create this part of the face. It's going to start looking more like a cardinal when I do this. I'm going to move to the small round brush, and I'm going to mix white with yellow. I'm going to create a light yellow color. And before I apply the red, I'm going to use this to cover all the background color. Because the red is very translucent, this is going to cover the background really well. And at this point I can make some corrections if I want him to be a little bit chubbier. And I'm going to leave the marks that I left to trace the bird so I can see him. And I'm going to cover the tail as well. And with a damp flat brush, you can clean up. While the first layer of the cardinal dries, I'm going to go back with some brown and go over the branches because I want the branches nice and dark. All this is what we first see. I want this nice and dark. When you make this darker, this area, the bird and the branches darker, it gives the painting a real nice sense of depth. I'm going to mix now some of this pale yellow with a drop of the brown that I'm using to create a lighter, much lighter brown. And I'm going to add some highlights on the branches. I am going to add snow on the branches, but I still want to add some dimension. Just on some areas. I have white now, and I'm going to add the effect of snow on some areas on the branches. Just dabbing the brush. Just like that. I'm going to let all this dry for a few minutes. To paint the cardinal, I'm going to use red, purple, black, white, and yellow. And with my small round brush, I'm going to pick up red. And now that the paint is dry, I'm going to apply the red all over. And because I put this base coat, the red looks very vibrant. And I don't see any trees peeking through the colors. I'm going to paint the whole body with this. I'm going to leave some of the markings so I know where the wings start. I'm going to leave a little bit of the yellow peeking through at the top there. And I'm stroking following the shape of the feathers. The feathers would be coming down this way on the chest. I'm now going to mix red with yellow. I want to create a light orange. And with this color, I'm going to paint the beak. I'm going to add some more yellow just to create some dimension. I'm going to add a bit of a highlight on the top of the beak with yellow. Using my liner brush when I feel I need it for the details. I'm going to add a highlight in the eye with the pale yellow right in here. Like that. And I can add the same color on the beak here, just a little highlight on the top. I'm going to add some of the orange up here to highlight these feathers. And the top of his head. going to add a bit of the orangey color in the chest, just to add more volume. I can blend with a clean brush. And I have the black now. And I'm going to retouch this area. I'm just dabbing to create the effect of feathers. And with the light yellow, I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight underneath the eye. You can make your bird as detailed or as loose as you want. I don't want extreme amount of detail, but I do want him to pop from the painting. Okay, let's paint some of the body and the wings. I'm going to pick up red and just a tad of purple. Create this darker purpley red. I'm going to add shadows in this part of the body. And some shadow in here on the wing. And on the tail. And I'm going to pick up purple, and I'm going to add some white, create a lighter purple, and I can add a drop of red. And with this I'm going to add the wings, and I'm going to start from the bottom up. I'm just flicking the brush and creating the effect of wings. And on the tail, I don't want to cover all the red, just want to add a bit of contrast like that. And I've added more white to the same purpley color. And I'm just going to add a bit more detail. Just flicking from the bottom up. I can assess the bird and see what it needs, and I can add a bit of highlight with the orange, especially in the chest area and on the head. And I can add a little more red. Just going to add more orange, darker orange. And if you want to add the feet, you can do that with some of the purpley reddish white that we mix. Just the illusion of the little bird's feet in here, like that. And I have brown on my liner brush, and I can define the beak just ever so slightly in here. Just adding a touch of white to the bird's feet, just ever so slightly. I'm going to go over some of the white areas and make the snow pop even more on the branches, just in some areas. Sometimes you need 2 coats of white for it to look very, very white. Okay, my friends, the painting is done. The last thing I'm going to do is with a dry brush, I'm going to sweep away all the chalk marks that I did that I don't need anymore. Make sure everything is completely dry before you do this. Okay, my friends, our painting Winter Morning is done. I'm going to give you a close-up. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you learn something new. If you like this video, please give it a like. Comment below. I always look forward to your comments. Share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any future content from me. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.